Welcome, I'm Dr. Ricardo Whyte. I'm an addiction psychiatrist down here in Southern California, medical director of one of our local chemical dependency units. And I've had the pleasure of walking you through the 3 dimensions of purpose. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over those 3 segments, but what we've been talking about is dealing with this idea of how tragic it would be to get to the end of your life and not have known your purpose. And so we basically use 3 lenses so that we'll be able to paint a 3-dimensional picture of what our purpose looks like. We'll be able to paint our purpose in full living color, and that was really the goal. So what makes me unique? Well, in addition to being a medical practitioner and loving the science, I've actually also enjoyed the integration of science and faith, especially from a biblical perspective. And what it does is it really creates some powerful truth. And so it's been a pleasure to share that with you. So I mentioned the critical role of mindset. Mindset is so powerful for you to be able to tolerate the twists and the turns of this life. And a critical part of making sure you have the right mindset is to understand what your purpose is. And so just to review, we mentioned that the first dimension of your purpose is your path. Don't underestimate the importance the grind is playing in shaping you and helping you develop the character necessary to fulfill your destiny. The other thing was injustice. We used an illustration of Joseph experiencing injustice, but not allowing the injustice to dissuade him from his purpose. If you know the story of Joseph, you know that Joseph goes on to not just be prime minister, but he is part of rescuing not just the civilization at that time, but also his family, the Israelites. Imagine if he had gotten off track by being over-focused on the injustice rather than working through it and remaining to have a commitment to excellence. So not being dissuaded by injustice. And the other, behaving like you're on candid camera. As you're going through your path, behave like you're being videotaped because God is watching you. So then we talked about the second dimension of purpose. The second dimension of your purpose is you have the responsibility to distill your talent into skill. You want to be obsessive and committed to making sure that you place yourself in the settings of excellence that will influence you to nurture that talent into skill. And then lastly, in the third dimension of our purpose, we highlighted the fact that you've been called to be like a God. If you have not seen those videos, you need to go back and see those videos because we uncovered some powerful information. You've been called to be like a God, but not just called, you have been endowed with the power to be God-like. Not God, because that would be blasphemy. You've been empowered with the ability to be God-like. Much more different, but still amazingly powerful. And we even discussed very briefly some facts about our neurobiology that make us absolutely amazing. But then we mentioned, okay, now that we know that we've been called to be like God, what is God's greatest quality? When you think about it, some people would say forgiveness, and when you think about it, what really distinguishes God is his ability to create. God's ability to create. And if we're going to be God-like, do you suppose we should have some mastery and some proficiency in creating? Now, only God can bara. That's a Hebrew term meaning create from scratch. Only God can do that, right? But we're still endowed with the ability to bring things together, to bring things into creation. Not from scratch, but to assemble things so that we can create. We're responsible for creating an atmosphere. If in terms of, you see some people walk into a room and they will change the atmosphere of the room, hopefully for the better. But the bottom line is we're constantly creating. Don't you want to be intentional about how you create? What if there was a system for creating effectively? I want to introduce you to my course, The Essentials of Wholeness, practical tools for bettering your life, where we're going to deal with exactly that. We are going to talk about the master process of creating. So basically, at the level one commitment, right? What are we offering at that level? I'm going to introduce you to the 7-step process of master creating. I'm going to unpack for you how God uses the 7 days to showcase how to master create. It is amazing. It will blow you away. That he was so passionate about creation. He was like, I want to make sure these guys know exactly how to create. And he put it in plain sight. And we've missed it for so long. So we're going to showcase for you the 7-step process of master creating. But then, in another module, we're also going to talk about the neurobiology of joy, addiction, and faith. We're going to delve into that. If I were to talk about what value I would place on the 7-step process of master creating, how to create in your life, how to actually be able to create with proficiency, I'd probably put like a $1,000 value on that. Because the goal of that course is you're going to understand the system. Whether you're sitting in a boardroom, whether you're sitting on some sort of executive board, or you're going to be able to listen to make sure that certain steps are being followed so that master creating is taking place. It's an awesome and phenomenal course. And then that next course, the neurobiology of joy, addiction, and faith. An amazing discussion where you now really see the interplay of science and faith. It's an amazing discussion. Again, if I were to put the value on that, that'd be about $1,000. Then the 7 vital connections of wholeness. Now that's where I'm going to unpack the wholeness grid. If you've not gone to drricardowhyte.com by now and downloaded the wholeness grid, go do that now. What you're going to find, what we're going to unpack is, especially if you have teenagers, this is better than a urine drug screen. All right, I say it facetiously, but it's going to be super, super effective. Why? We are going to detail, we're going to help you understand what are the markers in behaviors that you should be looking for to understand if the person is whole. This is going to knock your socks off. And you won't have to say anything. You'll just be able to observe and be like, okay, I like what I see. Or, hey, I don't like what I see. Now maybe I really should get a drug test. But the bottom line being the 7-step process. No, the vital connections of wholeness. We're going to highlight that. And we're going to give you a tool that you can use to evaluate, but not just your teenager. You can use it to evaluate yourself, or maybe even your subordinates. You'll be able to look at them and be like, hey man, this person is not, they're functioning kind of fragmented. Super great talk. And that is a $1,000 value. But I'm a generous guy, right? So I'm going to also throw in a bonus. What bonus? Well, part of creating effectively is having productive family interactions. And so I'm also including a discussion on training up your child. Train up a child in the way he should go. It is an awesome discussion that will really empower you with some actionable tools on how you can enhance your interaction with your child. One of the things I do is I take care of adolescents, and I will share with you some of the hacks I've learned in how to effectively deal and relate with adolescents, how to effectively set boundaries. It's going to be super helpful to you. For some of you, that's actually worth like $50,000. You know it is, but hey, let's just call that a $500 value. So in that package, how much will you have to pay for that $3,000 value course, that $3,000 package? I'm offering it to you for $397. $397. We'll get you everything that I've mentioned. Some of you are ready for a deeper commitment. And for you, I've designed the VIP level commitment. In the VIP commitment, you get everything that I talked about at the level 1 commitment. So, of course, you're gonna get the 7-step process for master creating. You're gonna get the neurobiology of joy, addiction, and faith. You're gonna get the 7 vital connections of wholeness. You're gonna get that awesome bonus, train up a child. You're gonna learn about some effective ways of relating and boundary setting and not being a bad guy in the process. So you'll get that. But then you're gonna get some other things as well. You're gonna get membership in the private Facebook group. In that group, we get to relate to one another. You get to ask questions. In that wholeness portal, you'll get a chance to actually, problem solve together. So that's going to be a phenomenal experience. I would place that easily at a $500 value. But then we're going to have 3 live Q&A webinars, easily a $2,000 value, where we're going to have Q&A on the 7-step process of master creating. So I'll actually be online for an hour and give you a chance to ask whatever questions you might have about that. We'll have also a Q&A webinar on the neurobiology of joy, addiction, and faith, an hour there. And then we will have a video training course entitled How to Waste Time in Therapy. How to waste time in therapy. Of course, you're not going to waste time in therapy, but I have so many patients that they do just all the wrong things. And I don't want you to do that. So I want to show you all the hacks to make sure that you're making the most of therapy, or even if you're consulting someone, what it is you need to do to get the most out of your consultation and your therapy. And, I would easily put that at a $500 value. But one more thing. I don't know about you, but I'm a Mac lover. And I used to love it when Steve Jobs would be like, one more thing. And this is good. This is very good. How many of you are longing to be in a fantastic relationship? And if you're in a fantastic relationship and you have children, how many of you know one of the most important decisions they will ever make is choosing who their life partner will be? So for you, I have a bonus item. It's a course entitled Don't Say a Word. Don't say a word. And it is amazing. It outlines for you who it is you need to become in order to be a dream lover, but then it also helps you understand who it is you are looking to partner with. What are the qualities you should be looking for? And the beauty of it is you don't have to say a word. So that's a bonus item if you're prepared to make that VIP level of commitment. And some of you are prepared to go even further. So for you, I have the VIP Platinum commitment, VIP Platinum. So it's everything else that I've already mentioned. You'll recall in level 1 where we talked about the 7-step process of master creating course. You got to see that. The neurobiology of addiction and faith, the 7 vital connections of wholeness, amazing value. Remember those awesome bonuses, the train up a child video that's going to knock your socks off, help you set boundaries and still not necessarily be a bad guy. Membership in the private Facebook group. Going to have a lot of fun. Can't wait to activate that. You are going to love it. 2 live Q&A webinars so that we can interact, in which you can ask your questions about the 7-step process of master creating, the neurobiology of joy, addiction, and faith. And then we're going to do a video training course entitled How to Waste Time in Therapy. So you're going to love all that. The goal of that is to teach you how to maximize the effectiveness of psychotherapy. And then we also tossed in Don't Say a Word. But if you are at that VIP Platinum commitment level, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a 30-minute one-to-one phone call with me, where we're going to sit down and we're going to understand what is it that you really need, what is it that you really need to work on. And you'll get an opportunity to ask me any questions that you may have about the material that you have gone through. And then a special treat, So this has all been about resilience and having the right mindset. There are some things that are coming your way that threaten to just blow you over. And what this course is aimed at doing is helping you develop a resilient mindset. It's a tool that helps you to understand, hey, if I can get my mind in the right frame of thinking, it will go a long way to support me in preserving my mental health and in some ways protect me from addiction. So there's a treat that I want to share with you. And that treat is I'm going to share with you a biblical perspective on heaven. It is amazing. It's going to kind of tie everything together so that you can understand why it's going to be such of an amazing place. First thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about some of the little unconscious things that have been promoted to you by the media that make you actually not want to go to heaven. That's one of the first things we're going to talk about. Some of the myths, it'll be this boring place. So we'll deal with how the media very effectively communicates that to you. We'll talk about what would be heaven's communication system. If communication is where it's going on earth, if there's any insight into where it's going in heaven, this thing should be pretty amazing. We'll talk about the power of innovation and the ultimate reason why you really, really want to go. Some pretty awesome stuff. I would total out the package at this point at about $8,000. But if you are at the VIP level of commitment, your price today will be $997. $997. Act now. This offer will disappear in 7 days, at which time I'll take it off the market, and then my focus is going to be on delivering as much value as possible for the people who registered. We are going to have an amazing time. My hope and my prayer is that I created value for you over these past 4 videos. I'm encouraging you to embrace confidence in moving forward, all right? Don't be afraid. There's a tendency to be afraid. So I leave you with this story. So recently a gentleman was supposed to go to this super, super important conference, and he was in Florida, and at the time Florida was having some storms. And his neighbors, they thought they were doing him a favor, and they said, hey man, you better not go. Don't go. You're not going to make it because you won't be able to drive, and who knows, flights might be rescheduled. And he listened to them calmly, and then he proceeded. Went over, he made it to the conference, and then he was asked, hey man, why did you keep going? Weren't you afraid of the storms? And his reply was, I am the storm. I am the storm. And that's the attitude we need to embrace. You have nothing to fear. You need to step forward. You need to move forward. You need to move in the spirit of I am the storm. I need not fear. Let others fear me. I hope this time together has been valuable for you. And it's my hope that you will move forward. You'll remember you are the storm, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care.